The Untold History of Manchester United. Legends and Milestones. It was February 6, 1958. Snow-covered runways in Munich, a plane attempting takeoff, and a football club's future, hanging by a thread. The Munich air disaster took 23 lives, including 8 Manchester United players. But from the ashes of that tragedy rose a team, a philosophy, and a legend that would define English football for generations. This is the untold story of Manchester United. Not the trophies, not just goals, but the moments, milestones, and legends that made the club immortal. The forgotten beginnings. Before the world knew them as Manchester United, they were Newton Heath Elwire Football Club, formed in 1878 by railway workers. The club nearly went bankrupt in 1902, until local brewer John Henry Davies invested £500 and changed the name to Manchester United. That was the first resurrection. By 1908, United had won their first Division title and the FA Cup in 1909. But little did the world know, this was only the beginning of something much bigger. Sir Matt Busby's revolution. Enter Matt Busby. Appointed in 1945. Busby's vision? Youth, unity, attacking football. His Busby Babes would electrify England with their flair and fearlessness. Stat. The average age of the 1957 league winning team was just 22 years old. Source. The Guardian, 2008. But then came Munich. Yet, Busby survived. And so did his vision. 10 years later, in 1968, Manchester United became the first English club to win the European Cup, beating Benfica 4-1 in extra time. Stat. George Best scored 32 goals that season and won the Ballon d'Or. Source. UEFA.com. The Ferguson era, not just trophies. Fast forward to 1986. A fiery Scot named Sir Alex Ferguson took over a struggling United. Few could predict what came next. Sure, we remember the 13 Premier League titles, 2 Champions Leagues, and the famous treble in 1999. Stat. In 1999, Manchester United played 63 matches, losing just 5 all season. Source. PremierLeague.com. But we often forget what made that era legendary wasn't just silverware. It was the players he believed in, class of '92. Giggs, Scholes, Beckenbauer. But they weren't just players. They were torchbearers of Busby's legacy. Milestones you've never heard of. Did you know Manchester United was the first English club to average over 50,000 fans per home game in the 1947-48 season? Source. ManuTD.com. Or that the club has contributed more players to England's World Cup squads than any other team. Stat. Over 80 Manchester United players have represented England. Source. EnglandFootball.org. And let's not forget Dennis Viollet, who scored 32 goals in 36 league games in 1959-60, a record untouched for over 40 years. Source. BBC Sport. Legends beyond the spotlight. We know the Cantonas and Rooneys. But what about the lesser-sung legends? Nobby Stiles, the toothless terrier, who won the World Cup and European Cup. Brian Greenhoff, the original ball-playing center back. Wilf McGuinness, a player-turned-manager, whose story is too often left untold. These names weren't just players. They were lifeblood. Men who played not just for the badge, but for the spirit of the club. Legacy and reflection. Manchester United's history isn't just about the goals or the glory. It's about reinvention. It's about coming back from tragedy. It's about belief. From Newton Heath to Busby, from Munich to Moscow, from Ferguson's treble to Ten Hag's rebuild. The Red Devils have shown the world that legacy isn't inherited. It's built, brick by brick, by legends and milestones most people never see. So the next time someone talks about United, go beyond the Premier Leagues and Ballon d'Ors. Ask about the heroes behind the headlines, the milestones buried in memory. Because Manchester United is more than a club. It's a story still being written, by legends past, present, and future. But here's the real question. Will you remember the trophies or the men who made them possible? Love Manchester United? Then don't miss this deep dive into the untold stories, forgotten legends, and game-changing moments that built the Red Devils' legacy. Hit the like button if you learned something new. Subscribe and follow for more hidden football histories. And turn on notifications so you never miss a story that deserves to be remembered. Which Manchester United legend do you think deserves more recognition? Drop their name in the comments. Let's give them the spotlight they earned.